picket line today, we're on strike today, because
they've all been told that their contracts are going to be terminated by the end of this month if they're not prepared to sign up for new contracts that are being imposed on them. And they are absolutely determined to show that they're not going to be treated like that. They also know that what lies behind the attempt to impose new shift patterns is an attempt to cut fire cover, and our members want to protect fire cover for the people of London.
Because those cuts and cutbacks will mean less fire engines on the street, less people out there to keep London safe, and we won't have the excellent service that we've fought long and hard for.
I'm not adverse to changing my shift. You know, personally, I would rather we didn't. I don't see what's wrong with the shift we're on, but if change has to be done, then I'm willing to move with that. But what we're not willing to do is be told we're going to lose our job if we don't agree with the new contract they impose on us. And negotiations are zero.
Our officials are prepared to negotiate any day, any time, anywhere. In fact, they were even negotiating yesterday on a Sunday. But in order to negotiate, it takes two to tango. Both sides have to be prepared to make movement, and all we've seen so far is the management representatives of the London Fire Brigade repeating the same old line, and they've been repeating the same line now for 5 years. I've made the point before that it's not negotiating, it's like being locked in a room, being forced to listen to a cracked record.
Those meetings don't involve negotiations, those meetings involve them putting exactly the same proposal that's already been rejected back on the table and changing a few full stops on it.
When you've got a politician like Brian Coleman determined to stamp his authority on the London Brigade and is prepared to sack the entire workforce in order to have his way, then we have absolutely no alternative other than to do what we're doing now.
And it's really important as a team we stick together, not only on the fire ground, but in our representation through the Fire Brigades Union, because there is nobody else that's going to speak for you. Nobody else is going to defend you out there.
We are actually in the fight of our lives here, as we can see. I listened to the radio last night to Councillor Coleman, who was implacably opposed to withdrawing the 188 sacking notice.
And one thing we've seen over the past few years is a concerted campaign to undermine the profession of firefighting. We have people in government now, and you might not believe this, but it's quite shocking, who are saying, for example, that it doesn't matter how quickly fire engines get to fires anymore. Response times don't really matter. Well, that's not what I was taught when I was here at Southwark. It's not what you're being taught, and it's not what the people of London or the people anywhere else believe. They want professional firefighters to turn out as quickly as possible on 999 calls. That's what we joined for, and that's what we do. So when we hear about professionalism, and during this battle, people will question our professionalism.
Fire Brigade Union members from Region 1 in Scotland are absolutely behind this dispute. We will support FBU members in London financially and, if need be, industrially.
Devon and Somerset bring a message, it's a strong message, it's a message of support. We all stand together. A fight for one is a fight for all. And we will support you, as the Scottish comrade said, financially and industrially. You know, we hope this goes away soon. They lift that 188 notice and get back to the negotiating table.
I'd like to say that we really applaud you for standing firm on this, because while the way that the media is presenting it is that you're just worried about shifts, I think we all understand, certainly where I've been talking to people at work, that this is really about the cuts in our services, and we care about our services, and the Fire Brigade is one of those.
There are firefighters walking out all over London today. One of the saddest things is seeing people bussed in from all over the country to work while we're on strike. We have a private contractor, ASICO, making millions and millions of pounds out of council taxpayers in London. Most Londoners don't even realise that our fire engines have already been privatised. Our fire engines and our fire kit are owned by private companies. We're now going one step further. We've got ASICO, and they are making use of the fact that we've got mass unemployment to recruit people off the dole queues and come in and do a day's work pretending to be London firefighters. That's a tragedy.
Clearly they've been turning up at stations, they've been attending fires, which, in all fairness, during the war, you'd get the NFS and the AFS, which were the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and anyone can stand and squirt an hose, which is all they can do. Once you start to get the specialist stuff like the chemical spills, the RTAs, the terrorist stuff, they have no knowledge whatsoever. They're lost. Most of the time they're lost at fires. So when you get the specialist stuff, they're done.
The people of London have been completely conned about the service that's provided by those clowns from ASICO. People who are brought in, given some Mickey Mouse training course, and told to pretend to act like they work for the London Fire Brigade. We know the truth. We know what they did operationally. That's why apparently today they've had to give them a different channel so you can't hear the chaos that is out there on the fire engines today. I think the other sad thing is that we've got a number of middle managers who've gone in there to assist people to come in and take our jobs and take the food off your family's table, and that is a very sad indictment to those individuals.
The man is a flame dodger. Don't listen to him. Join us out here. Have some respect for yourselves and your families.
People from ASICO, you've been conned, you've been lied to, you've been told that you weren't going to be crossing picket lines. Well, you are going to have to cross picket lines. We're going to be here every day you want to come back into London. My message is don't bother coming back into London to try and break our strike. You won't break us, you won't beat us.
Traitor.
Should be ashamed of yourself.
Scurrying around with balaclavas covering their faces, because what you're doing out there, you should be absolutely ashamed of yourselves.
You are the ones that this manager in London thinks are worth a dog in a fire station, protecting a fire station. I've never seen that yet, and I've been on strike like many of you here. I've never saw a dog crewing a fire station, and I have to say, there's a few more dogs in there with it.
And they've had to have those low-life senior officers who are in there scurrying around, those people without backbone, without principles, who would do absolutely anything if it would further their career.
And I spoke to some of them last week when we were on strike, and some of them made very clear to me that they didn't want to be here. They'd been misled by ASICO, they'd been misled by the London Fire Brigade. They didn't realise they were going to have to cross picket lines, and some of those people did say to me they would not be coming back.
The thing that's lucky for the employer's side is that we're all professional enough that we'll still go out, we'll still do the job we've got to do, we'll still smash the targets they set us. So they're lucky that they've got such committed people working for them.
A couple of weeks ago I was at a fire in Downham, and whilst fighting the fire, the first floor of the building collapsed onto me. It fractured 4 of my vertebrae, and it's severely damaged my left ankle. So at the moment I'm in a body suit which holds my back together and legs in a cast, and I've got a wheelchair for the foreseeable future. I'm here today just basically because of the fact that we're getting sacked. They put it on us to do this. We don't want to do it, but I don't think we've got a choice in the matter at the moment. Until they lift that order, we'll be here. I've offered my money to the union to try and support them as well, even though I'm off sick. And hopefully this gets resolved before the next strike, really. It's not hard, just lift the strike order and we'll go back to work and we can resolve this.
If they lift the sacking notices now, pick up the phone, we will walk back in today. That's all they have to do. If they won't do it today, I hope they'll do it tomorrow. And I hope they'll do it before the 5th of November.
But the people of London need to be under no illusion that their lives are in danger. A small fire is more than enough for these people. They cannot handle a small fire. Bonfire night is approaching. Don't be without fire cover. Don't leave London without fire cover. Support your firefighters and let's get this sorted.
I think it's been absolutely disgraceful the way the London Fire Brigade Media Department have been cooperating with some of the worst of the media, giving people's private details out. This isn't what the council taxpayers of London pay their council taxes for. They pay it to have a proper emergency service, not to have a team of 30 press officers doing their best to denigrate the reputations of their workforce.
I know a lot of papers are writing lies about us and propaganda, but I think if you stand outside the station and hear all the bibbing going on, you know what the real support is from the people. Certain papers have been saying about where we live.
That's why the Mail on Sunday yesterday was able to doorstep people and ask them details of confidential information that's been provided to the London Fire Brigade as the employer. That's absolute disgrace on behalf of the Fire Brigade management. I have to say, I don't think they'll ever be forgiven for what they've done to their workforce over the past week.
The fact that they keep highlighting that firefighters might have 2 jobs, things like that, I think it's despicable the way they're carrying on.
The Daily Mail and The Sun can run articles denigrating firefighters. but the vast majority of people out there know that we stand in the first line of a fight which is affecting everybody.
If that's the worst they can say about us, then we can't be that bad of people, really, can we? Working hard, 2 jobs, paying more tax, helping everyone out, really. I've never known a country to have a go at people for working hard. It's ridiculous.
I'd love to see some of their dirty laundry aired in public, but, you know, I think we're above that.
Yes, our members have been deemed to be working outside of their contracts, even though they've been doing everything that we consider is contractually required of them, have had deductions from their pay varying between 20% and 60%. So even on the days that our members are at work, which obviously is the majority of days, even during the month of November, they're getting, some of them, more than half of their pay stopped. So our members are now starting to suffer as a result of this dispute, but their resolve is high, and they will do what is necessary in order to get a successful outcome.
I think anyone who reads into it and knows Coleman and all the other stuff he's done, that's him personified. That's what he's about. He's hungry for media attention. He wants to see his face in the papers. He wants to see himself on the news, and that's who we have to deal with on a daily basis. And if you took Coleman out of the equation, we wouldn't be on strike today.
There are some people, Brian Coleman being one, the London Fire Brigade Press Department being another, who want to escalate this, who want to prolong this, and they're digging in and they are throwing every possible thing, every slur against us and against our members.
We say no, that is supremely unfair. They talk about bullying and harassment, they talk about values and being principled, and everything they're doing flies in the face of that. And I am really, my heart breaks basically, because I had faith in our Commissioner Ron Dobson. These managers who were once firefighters with me, the AC Dave Brown, you trained with me at Southwark Training Centre over 25 years ago, that they have nothing but contempt for the people they once were as firefighters. We've got 100% sign up from our trainees at Southwark, who are from every different walk of life. This is their very new job. They're still on what is considered probationary procedure as well, but they've signed up to the FBU and they've walked out the doors today, and that immensely commendable. Our focus within the London Fire Brigade is to keep London safe. That's what we're about. That's what our focus is on. That's why most of us joined this job. So to walk out the doors today, it doesn't only leave Londoners vulnerable, it leaves us, our families, vulnerable as well. So it's a huge step we're taking to say what you're doing to us is unfair, because what we think is if they come for us, those trainees that have walked out today won't have the jobs that we've fought long and hard for over the last however many years.
The Fire Brigades Union have never walked away from talks, never will walk away from talks. We want to talk, but we want to talk in a realistic way as equal parties in negotiations.
Well, what we say to the management of the London Fire Brigade is do that now before there's any more pain, before there's any more of these sorry scenes of security guards with Alsatians on fire stations trying to lock out the firefighters who normally work there. Resolve this matter now before we have to have any more of this.
The feeling between us and senior officers will take a long time to repair.